Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Thank you. Now enjoy the show.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of RAERAEs Review Live. What's going on, aunties and uncles and everybody else? I sound better than last time, huh? I told you it wasn't gonna last long. I was a little last week, wasn't I? Voice still a little deep sometimes, but you know when you're getting better, the voice gets better. So I appreciate all the well wishes. Just want to say what's up once again. Hey, did I catch our live yesterday? Me and my homegirl Erin was talking about the What's Going Down episode of Real Housewives of Orange County. It was like a 2-hour session. We had a lot to say. Sometimes we have a lot to say. Sometimes we just hit it and quit it. But it's a lot going on down to the OC out here in Southern California. Let me tell you, because we're both from Southern California. So we got some insights to some things, some behaviors, especially her. She's more or less grew up around that area. And I am familiar with the area. So anyway, needless to say, we got a lot of insight going up to the goings on and the goings down. I mean, we don't know these people, but when they, your demographic because of where you're from, right? And that's what I'm talking about. I just want to put out a little comment out here. Let y'all know. Put a little hey y'all for the folks that's in the chat. Talk to me, y'all. I talk back. We can make it interactive. Make it bring you up, whatever the case may be, if ever you got something to say. Now, I'm going to say this. I may pause once or twice, maybe 3, 4, 5 times, because I'm still, like I said, I'm still getting better. But at least my voice don't sound all rackly, crackly like it did last week. But I may, mute it just to give a little, or whatever the case may be. Like right now. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Right back. See, that was real quick. Last time it was a good 10, 15 seconds. So I was kind of going through, but I'm doing so much better. Let me tell you. Thanks again for the well wishes. I appreciate you. Now, let's see what's going on the What's Going Down episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville. All right, season 10. I think it's season 8 because Carlos just switcheroo, or maybe the network. I don't know. But it's funny how they split up a season, give you that mid-season trailer talking about we'll be back whenever we be back. And then it's a whole new season. I'm like, wait a minute. How was this a mid-season and it's a whole new season when you come back? That's why I said this must be really season 8. Because they start combining. They start separating seasons around season 8. So if we on 10 and they've done it twice, it's -2, y'all. I'm good at mathematics. That's what I'm saying. It's probably that season 8. But nevertheless, if they take season 10, I'm going to say season 10, okay? Anywho, where we going to start? I guess I'm just going to do my normal, start chronologically as the show went on. As you can tell, I got some in my mouth. Why? Hey, Ricola is your friend. And Ricola has been my best friend for the last, 8 days? 12 days. Anyway. Martell, who's it? Martell, child. Martell. So Martell invites Chris over to his investment property. Last Chris knew, he was trying to sell it. Chriss said, well, listen, I'm here to help Martell out. You know how they do their confessionals, right? They throw a little confessional in when they talking about what's going down, or they're filming or showing us what happened in the scene. Then they, cut real quick to a confessional while that person is talking about what happened in that scene. I kind of like that. But I just hope, and I always hope, that the confessionals are filmed the same time they're filming, because I don't understand the purpose of filming confessionals months later or after the season ended. I hear they do that, but anyway, back to the show, the scene. Martell invited Chriss over to talk about Marsau for the most part and discuss the house, the investment property. Now, Chriss was under the impression Martell wanted him to come over and help stage it, because Chriss, like Martell, brought his measuring tape. Because of course you got to figure out where to put things, what size furniture to buy. Same thing I did when I bought my house. I said, okay, so I'm gonna need this length of a sofa, this coffee table, end table, whatever the case table, And so Chriss got slapped in the face, not literally, but figuratively, when Martell told him, well, I'm gonna be moving in Arionne and the kids. He looked and said, what? So Chriss was like, oh, so you acting like Ken now. Ooh, wait till we get to Ken's part, honey. Ooh, child. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Okay, drink some vitamin C real quick. So Chriss was telling Martell, like, man, I think you acting like Ken. Moving in girls and carrying on with kids. Well, the Martell was like, well, I'm not moving in with them. I'm moving them in here. So Chriss cut to the confessional. Chriss was like, well, last I knew, he was asking me to help him sell it. Then he took the house from me and gave it to somebody else who still couldn't sell it. Ooh, Chriss is a shade assassin. Let me tell you. Chriss know how to shade real good. Chriss know how to tell a story, don't he? Which is why Latricia was all up in arms about him saying her husband and his brother is giving out NDAs to their side chicks. Ain't that nothing? And then Chriss and Nell talking about so she didn't believe the side chick talking. Chriss know where the bones is buried. I don't care what nobody say. Chriss know where the bones is buried. Anyway, back to the scene. So Chriss was just letting them know, oh, so you pulling the Ken, and Martell's like, no, that's my family, and I'm moving them in here. Because, for the last 5 years or more, Martell has been taking care of Arionne, her household, and carrying on, because that's what, according to Martell, that's what a man supposed to do. So, I mean, even though when he was married to his ex-wife, he was still taking care of her household and whatnot. So it only seems befitting and right that he moved them into this house. Because why, like you said before, why is he paying for this house, paying for a place for her, and then paying for his place? That's 3 residents. He can, reduce one. It makes sense, y'all, if you think about it. That's his woman. That's his new family that he's, pulling together. So it is what it is. Now, what's interesting is how long is that going to be? Because once him and her get married, he going to need a whole new house. Because unless the one he got, he going to move them in there, because apparently it's enough room for him and the kids he shared with his ex-wife. But you talking about 3 more people, 2, and possibly another baby. I mean, We don't know, what Arionne is thinking, or is she of that age where women should be thinking about hanging up the towel? Who knows? But Chriss was just surprised that Martell is moving her in, but it's all good, What can you say? I mean, that's his woman, and that's that on that. So now let's talk about Marsau, right? Martell is asking Chriss about, talking with Marsau again, just one-on-one. Chriss is like, hang that up. How about y'all just stop talking about things and with each other and about each other? So pretty much, if you stop, maybe he stopped. But the one thing Chriss said that really bugged me, Martell was trying to get Chriss to say on camera how much of a liar Marsau is, and that Martell does not lie anymore. He said he reformed. And that Martell is always telling the truth. Now, come on. Now, I don't believe that because Martell lied about this, he can lie. He lies about everything. You know what I'm saying? Especially when we have proof that, okay, he told the truth about this, he told the truth about that. It's all good. So, but the one thing that bothered me in that whole conversation was how Chriss mentioned how much of a stand-up guy Martell has always been. Now that's a lie and the truth ain't in you, because we've seen how he has done people, especially his ex-wife. We're seeing it now when we see her posting things about what he is doing, harassing her and stuff like that. I mean, we didn't see what happened before that, but I'm pretty sure if she started it, he would have said so, because he's a tit for tat BAN kind of dude. BAN, can't really cuss like that. But you female donkey ninja, if you know what I'm talking about. Hey, it is what it is, I just, Chriss Fletcher, I don't understand why you would think Martell has always been a stand-up dude when you was counseling them for him to stop cheating on his wife. Hello, remember that? All them late nights, early mornings, and carrying on. Remember that, Chriss? Stand-up guy, always stand-up guy. Come on now. But when folks listen, ooh, I don't understand that part. But moving on, child. Moving on. Hold on, y'all. Be right back. Be right back. All right, y'all. Thanks again for waiting. Like I said, I'm getting better. The show must go on. Now, here we are, Ken, child. Told you that Ken stuff is crazy. The best thing about this scene was seeing Will. Ken, homie Will, he got that bar place that they be sometimes filming at and talking to. Baby, I love to see. Ooh, I saw Will walk in. I know that's right. Boy, if that ain't a good looking man, I don't know. Ooh, Lord have mercy. Don't this make you feel good when you see something delicious? I'm just saying. I'm ashamed. Ooh, made me cough. Okay, Will. Hey, Will, how you doing, baby? All right. So look, Ken is all up in arms. He had to invite his homie over to get a perspective. But if you watch the episode, y'all, what was funny was Ken talked the whole time. Kim answered his own questions. Ken gave the whole perspective that he needed to give. He just wanted to vent and invite somebody over to vent to. That's all that was. Because I don't know what they didn't show us, but all Will did was just, yeah, He didn't give no real type of, like word of wisdom. It was all Ken. Ken, no. So let's just get into this part. So, like I said, Will come over, right? Because Ken just had a fight, of course, not a physical fight. He had a fight with Latricia. So the issue is, while Ken was filming some scene for the gym of sorts, Latricia walks through the scene and was leaving for whatever the reason. I don't know, not that she was leaving. She was walking out the door. It was through the garage that they're filming. So she's going through the garage. And all you hear him say was, so you just gonna leave without giving me a kiss? You can tell he was being sarcastic. And apparently that is the catalyst as to why Ken and Latricia had a fight. I'm like, what? So, but that, as you can assume, and you are assuming right, I assume the same thing. Oh, that's just a part of all the bullshit that's been going on. Because ain't that little thing couldn't get me riled up. No, it's in addition to what's been building up and building up and building up and building. It's just, it ain't solid like a rock. It ain't. They have, their foundation is cracked, and it always has been. The fact that her soon-to-be ex-husband brought out some feelings in both of them made them think that and believe that they're not on a solid foundation like they thought they were. They're over there playing house. There's no way, there's no rhyme or reason why these two people who love each other, meaning Latricia and Ken, should have got a house together. I thought they were renting or just staying, but apparently through conversation, Ken already talking to realtors about getting rid of the house. I'm like, wait a minute. What you mean? Y'all, what's that term? Counting the eggs before they hatch, child. You mean to tell me that you thought it was prudent and a good idea to purchase a home with a married woman, with Sharon, with no divorce paperwork, not even filed yet? And you say you have all this going on for yourself. And so apparently you just throwing away money left and right. Hell, you could have threw it this way. You don't even know me. Yeah, I could have took it. Yeah. And you bought a house with this woman? But Ken said he paid for everything. So you bought a house? I wish I would. Anyway, so pretty much Ken is excuse me, accepting the realizations we've all been saying. I know I've been saying it, child. You are realizing and coming to the fruition of all the bullshit that you have caused as a so-called leader of that household, talking about how every time they, get into it, he's the more calm one, but she the one to keep going and going, and he wants her to seek therapy for why she can't seem to calm herself down, which is strange because she says the opposite a little later, but we don't get into that. Now, Ken, you are fed up to the point where you want to break up or take a break or whatnot. He don't want nobody else. He just wants her to sort it out and figure it out. No, both of y'all need to sort it out and figure it out, because both of y'all shouldn't be with each other. Not in this way, in my opinion. Like, what's really going on? So Ken thinks because he got it go in his eyes, he got it going on, and she still needs some help in that way. Financially, yeah. But you don't have it going on in total just because of the things you have or the mindset that you may have. Because if you had it going on, you would have had your place and you would have had and she would have had hers. And if she needed financial assistance from you, that could have been something you could have done. But you buying all this stuff and paying for all this stuff. Again, you can still have your own place. Why you need to live with another man's wife? And that's the point of contention. She's still married to this man. You haven't seen the paperwork finalized, and like Chris said a few episodes ago, why are you pouring your emotions into her soon to be ex-husband? You ain't dating him. That if that ain't the truth, just saying. I mean, dude, really, Ken, really? This is what you call a fine ass will over for? Talking about he's upset. He's giving husband treatment. You sound like the woman usually say, I'm giving all this wife treatment and he don't appreciate this, that, the third. Yeah, that's what happens when you do things the wrong way. Just saying. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Be right back. Okay, thanks for waiting. So he's giving all his husband treatment, upset that it ain't going his way like a big old brown teddy bear baby trying to call out Latricia. No, call out your stuff. You know what I'm saying? Admit to your wrongs other than just being with somebody who can't calm herself down. Boy, please, if you don't leave her alone. So in the midst of all that, oh no, I'm gonna say that part later for what her son did. Just hold on to that, okay? So anywho, like I said, Will comes over there. Now Will did suggest moving on, but he's always been saying that. You know? Hell, I've been saying it. I've been saying it. Like that made me laugh. I chuckle so much. Anyway, I just, anyway, Will asked if maybe she's going through something because, as her man, you're supposed to be able to help her get over things or help identify it or at least, bring her to the well so she can drink type of situation. And Kim was like, man, I've already told her she needs to be seeing somebody. Well, damn. Really, Kim? You already told her, huh? Child, where is Ken's family? Did I miss something? He ain't got no. Now don't get me wrong. I like seeing Will coming through. Hey, Will. But where his family at? Was he an orphan? What's going on? Help me out. Help me out. Anyway, that was it for them, child. Moving on. Marsau and Maci. That was a cute little episode. I mean, cute little thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting this vitamin C down my throat, y'all. Ooh. Tastes good. These little mandarin oranges. They're so good. Anyway, they go to the nail shop, getting, pedicures and carrying on. You hear the lady scraping on, going to work on Myra's feet, meaning Marsau's feet, while Maci's is getting pampered and everything. And she want him to get pink and carrying on. Like, girl, that is your daddy. He is traditional. Don't please stop. I was feeling a little awkward because he was. He was like, girl, stop with the pink. That's what he was trying to say without saying it. But she was just trying to embarrass him, knowing that good and hell well he ain't gonna get nothing pink nowhere on his body, not even a piece of article of clothing, child. Especially on his doggone nail toe. So he's like, I ain't getting no color. Yeah, you need color, girl. Anyway, so it was a cute, episode. He's just trying to test her on dating. Talking about let's have I what's that game? Never Have I Ever. First he asked her has she played the game. She's like, yeah. So that's number one. He, certain games. Listen, these mind tricks he's doing with his daughter. Been there, done that. Okay, but I have a son, so you know I've had the Jedi mind tricks going on. I love it. So first of all, there are certain games you are shocked to know your children know, especially at this age. Never have I ever. Damn. That's a grown folks game. But he let it slide. He let that slide. Moving on to the next question. Okay, so now you know how to play. Let me ask some questions. Have you, what do you say? Hold on. Have you, kissed somebody, so she drank. Because when you drink, that means you've done it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let me get a swig of my juice. Hold on. Don't ask me no questions. Because I'm good and grown. I play well with this game, child. Mm-hmm. So we're just asking her certain dating questions and carrying on. And he's, shocked to hear some things. And so she got a boyfriend named Byron. She liked somebody a while ago, but she got a boyfriend named Byron. And he was like, see, this is why I really don't want you to date. And she was like, well, mommy didn't date until he said, no, mommy had a boyfriend at 13. She was like, what? Marsau realized he messed up. First of all, my kid couldn't be allowed to date nothing until he was 18. And you know what I told him? I'm gonna tell you a secret. Make sure she's older than you. You may want somebody older than you because women mature faster. Well, females mature faster than boys. And if you got somebody, no offense, baby, but who dumber than you, and I'm not calling you dumb. I'm just telling you what I told him, y'all. I'm not calling you dumb, but you may want somebody, again, like I said, females mature faster. So you may want a female with more intellect than you. It's always a good thing. Trust me, it's always a good thing. That was a hidden message that I was informing him about, because it's just certain things legally that if something happens, the elder of the two will be held more responsible, if you get my drift. And that was my reasons for telling him that. On top of being true, you may, put it in his mind that getting someone a little bit older than him, not by much, just someone older who could have more intellect, and somebody you can learn from. Anyway, enough about me. So he was shocked to hear, not shocked, but he was pleasantly surprised to hear that she's still a little girl, but she's growing up. She does have feelings, She like boys, so it is what it is. She's so cute with her little dimples. Anyway, what else he say, child? Then she said she's more relatable to her mom, not so much him. And he showed her unconditional love. He said, regardless of anything, I want you to hear me out right here and right now. If ever you in the bind, it better not be with Nate. If ever you in the bind, you can always call me. I may be upset, but I will come get you so you can be safe, secure, and sound. So just promise me that. If ever you somewhere and you need assistance, I don't care what's going on, call me. Don't text. Hell, FaceTime, hell, that's good. But so she understood the assignment, which was good. I'm glad. Now, Latricia, Sharon, and Destiny, they're out there having dinner and drinks, discussing why her and Ken taking a break. They're both like, what? Like I said earlier, you know how Ken was saying how when they get into the heat of an argument, he know how to calm down and she don't. Well, she said that his aggressiveness makes her want to shut down or you know, just she has an issue with him yelling. Well, hell, people gonna yell in an argument, girl. It ain't like he hitting you over the head and he threatening you and he coming at you and carrying on. But one thing that she didn't like was, and one thing we all, and Sharon and Destiny also said, was all this fighting and carrying on in front of these kids is just not the way to go. Kids should not be privy to y'all's disagreements in that way. If y'all need to go down the street or sit in the car and yell and care, child, listen. That is bad parenting 101. And he ain't even a parent, but apparently once her son, you know, heard them yelling and carrying on, he came and threw his keys down on the counter because Ken said, once I go, all that shit is mine. I'm taking everything with me. That's why you shouldn't argue in front of children, because he didn't say, nor did he mean he would take the car from the kid. We all know that. He talking about everything in here he done bought and it's going with him, you know, the furniture and stuff like that, you know, maybe the groceries too. But for children who are impressionable and don't know nothing, it's just gonna think that he meant me too, my car too. He's so sick and tired of his parents. Child, I would love to hear what this 18-year-old has to say about both his two parents and the bonus. Because y'all is just cutting up too much. And I can just imagine what the little girl got to say. If she's around like that. I don't know, maybe I'll say this, playing devil's advocate. She didn't mention the daughter at all. So maybe they feel as though because her son is adult age, they can argue in front of him. Because this is twice we've known their son to be around, right? Fighting with his dad. And then this one, with him throwing the keys down because he heard what Ken said about taking everything with him when he leaves. Boy, I tell you, these parents nowadays, I don't know. So Sharon says Ken probably doesn't feel validated or appreciated. Destiny agrees because of how they see Latricia is. Now, when your homegirl's telling you something about yourself, you may want to take heed because, you know, they got your back more so than Ken. They're going to be around after Ken leave and carrying on. So, again, Latricia, if you listen to watching, listening. Just saying. I hope you listen to them because from what I heard as of last night, you and Ken still together. So perhaps what they said hit home and you're doing the work as well as he's doing the work. And I better apologize to them cheering for acting like imbeciles in front of them. They watch TV. They see y'all cutting up. And they probably hear you too. Well, we know the son do. Anyway, what else Destiny and Sharon was reading Latricia about? Oh yeah, y'all. Destiny clocked her tea. Did y'all see it? If you ain't watching, let me tell you what happened. Now I clocked Latricia's tea when she first came on talking about how Ken paid for everything and he's paying for the divorce too. You see how my voice changed? That's how her voice was when she said it her first season. I'm like, oh, so you're throwing his money around like it's yours, put it up in your ex's face and making it known for the whole World Wide Web, internet television to see that Ken is paying for everything. Okay. But that's your divorce that he paying for. Okay. Another reason why Ken feel the way he feel. He didn't say that to Will, but we all know he gave her the money. So Destiny clocked her tea. She said, I can see you, meaning Latricia, you just feel like Ken ain't going nowhere. So you gonna do and say as you do and say. And not really put in the work. Ooh, girl, to the point where Latricia had to ask for more stronger wine. Yeah, girl, clock your tea. Mm-hmm. And Sharon was like, yeah, I see that too. Yeah, girl, we been saw it. We been saw it. Cause ain't no woman gonna floss and live in the moment when she's telling folks and the audacity to tell people that her man is paying for her divorce. Okay. What? Child, moving on. Baby, now here's the creme de la creme. Looking at my notes, child. Here we go. Martell and Marsau. How they show down. So they discussing the BS. So pretty much, Martell discussing the BS and the disrespect must cease. Marsau is under the impression that he don't talk about Martell. Martell talks about him, and it has been for years. He said at least 7 years now. So because Martell's spilling your tea, that's a problem. See, this is what I mean by BAN in regards to Martell. Look, we all have, meaning all of our demographics have a honor code with it, right? We usually hear about it with the street thugs, no snitching. Well, girl code, guy codes, we don't say we don't tell what's going on with our homegirl. We just confide within ourselves. Same thing with dudes. But Martell got mad, like Marsau said in episode 7, that Martell got caught and he wanted to take everybody else down with him. If there was nothing to take down, you would have never said that. You see how you spill your own tea, Marsau? Which that's what you should have said. And he's trying to take us down, but ain't nothing to take us down. That's what you should have said with what you said. But you spilling your own tea. It is what it is, Marsau. Anyway, but it's true. Martell got caught, big time. And the girl had a baby. So he could have kept cheating with the girl had she not gotten pregnant. Because his ex-wife was just continuing on with him. Some women will continue with the cheating, which is exactly why I've been saying for the last, 50, 11 years, when you allow cheating in your relationship, you allow it. So you are part to blame. I don't give a doggone. That ex-wife is part to blame. Because if you don't put your foot down, excuse me, And it wasn't until a baby came that you felt like you needed to get rid of your baby and out of spite because the Jezebel, well, it's not Jezebel now, but it is what it is. So because the Jezebel was having her baby out of spite, you want to get rid of your baby out of spite. Now you want to file for divorce. You should have filed a long time ago. In my opinion, should have filed long freaking time ago. Because I don't play that mess. You cheat on me, that's it. That's all. I don't condone it. Certain things I don't condone. Putting your hands on me is just obvious. And cheating is definitely made known when we dating. No, you can't cheat on me when we dating. Because you're trying to get to know me and carrying on. So if you can't save all that for me, you know what I'm saying? What is we doing? You just doing what you want to do? Oh, no. Because I don't do that cheat back stuff either. I'm not degrading myself and my body parts just to feel like I can do it too. No, that's not even cute. Anyway, so Marsau said that he's tired of all this back and forth. He's tired of being Martell's punching bag. Martell says Marsau is a compulsive liar, and Martell just can't get out of this tit for tat in this conversation. I'm like, you're a man. You're a traditional man, both of y'all. Marsau is showing more manhood than Martell is. Martell's voice getting high like Mickey Mouse. Because, he's so emotional in the moment. If Martell can just keep an even keel type of conversation, the way I'm doing now, do not get so high like Mickey Mouse when they're talking at your camera. He would feel better because you have to be focused within a heated debate or conversation. Otherwise, you can just get thrown left and right, like it seemed like Marsau was doing with him. Marsau says he doesn't want an apology because Martell will just backslide. And that's true. That's Martell's MO. Martell expected Marsau to admit he and Latricia were apologetic, which is why he did the interview with the girl who said she slept with Marsau and Maurice at the same time, who said she was flued out by Marsau. Pretty much Martell is begging for friendship, and it was a little embarrassing. You can't do all these things to somebody. Again, he's not your ex-wife, where you can do all these things to and expect forgiveness, like Tamra Judge on Real Housewives of Orange County. Y'all, please check out our review. We got in. We read her for filth, as well as had some good conversation over there. But anyway, back to Love and Marriage Huntsville. Marsau just wants him to keep his name out of his mouth because it ain't gonna ever be nothing positive. Marsau is trying to keep things down because it seems like once Arionne comes on the show, all bets is off. Because in this scene, Marsau mentioned how he would prefer that he, Martell, and his fiance keep him and his wife Letitia's name out of their mouths. Because we've all heard, well, if you haven't, we've heard how Arionne has bad-mouthed Latricia as well, which in my opinion is why that fueled Martell's fire, talking with his woman about another woman. When he was calling Latricia stupid and dumb in her face, and Marsau had her sit there and listen to that, down to Destiny's relaunch of Madani e-commerce. Remember that, y'all? If not, go ahead and watch that. I couldn't. I don't even know why he allowed Latricia to even go through that or endure that. I wouldn't have. I said, baby, I'm gonna listen to this clown. Get at me when you done. That's how you, Latricia. That's why I think of you the way I think of you, girl. There's no reason why he had Latricia sitting there while Martell is berating his wife. It would have been fist to jaw. Anyway, back to this season and this scene, this end scene, okay? End scene was more than just ending the scene. Martell asked the same about Latricia and him keeping him and his woman name out of their mouth. But that ain't that's not what they doing. But Martell says, let's end it on that, since he ain't gonna get his way. Since Martell ain't gonna get what he wanted, he just wants to end the conversation. I don't think Martell is good. I really don't. I thought that Martell was playing himself, thinking that he can do all these things to another grown-ass man, and this grown-ass man is going to accept it and move on in life with him as his homie. Nah. And I think that Marsau knows that the dam may be about to bust. Because once Arionne comes on the scene and she starts, talking and filling in the pieces to the puzzle folks think ain't there. Yeah, because I believe it. I believe she knows a whole lot. She knows where the bones is buried. And when she comes on this show, it's going to rock the show. It really is, because both Latricia and Kimmy is going to have to face the music. Hello. But that was it, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. When you subscribe, make sure that you make sure the bell is black. Now, more shows is coming through, y'all. So make sure you got your notifications on. And I appreciate you so much. Talk to you later. Bye. All day. All day. All day.